Am I the a-hole for not eating my mother-in-law's food because I suspect she doesn't wash her hands? My wife and I have been together for 5 years, and her family has always been super welcoming. They're kind people, but there's been one thing bugging me for a while, and it came to a head last weekend. My mother-in-law loves to cook, and she's good at it. At least that's what everyone says. Every family gathering involves her spending hours in the kitchen, whipping up a huge feast. I've always tried to politely nibble on things and compliment her cooking, but I usually stick to dishes I'm 100% sure weren't touched by her directly. Why? Because I'm convinced she doesn't wash her hands after using the bathroom. Here's why I think that. Every time I visit their house, I've noticed something unsettling. The bathroom is right next to the kitchen, and there's never a sound of water running after she's in there. It's always straight back to chopping, mixing, or handling food. No sink action. I've tried not to think about it, but once you notice something like that, it's hard to ignore. Last weekend we went over for a big family dinner. Everyone was seated, and my wife's mom served her usual elaborate spread. Homemade everything, right down to the salad dressing. As the food came out, I couldn't shake the thought of her bare hands being everywhere. When my wife nudged me to dig in, I whispered to her, "I'm not hungry right now." She gave me a confused look but didn't press, but then my mother-in-law noticed I wasn't eating. "Everything okay, hun? You're not touching your food." I panicked and mumbled something about a big lunch. She gave me a tight smile and said, "Well, I worked really hard on this." The room got awkward, and I felt like everyone was staring at me. Later on the drive home, my wife asked what was really going on. I confessed. I told her my suspicions about her mom's bathroom habits. She lost it. She called me ridiculous and said I was being disrespectful. She said her mom's been cooking for decades and no one's ever gotten sick, so clearly I was overthinking it. Now my wife's mad at me, and I feel terrible because I know how much effort her mom puts into these meals. But at the same time, I just can't get past the idea of eating food that may have been, well, contaminated. AITA for refusing to eat my mother-in-law's food because I suspect she doesn't wash her hands? Update. I'm considering just asking her, but how do you even bring that up without coming off like a total jerk?